Welcome back to another Buddies, Booze, Banters, Unfiltered Conversations. I'm Rick.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Alex.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, there it is. I missed that part.
I
That's my
know.
favorite part of the whole show.
Oh, your little
The
verbal
part I
high
get to
five.
Talk about.
Oh, now it's visibly. It's
Yeah,
visible
we can
now.
see it visually.
So you're good in what my voice is. I don't need to be obsessed. With
No,
my, okay, good.
yeah,
I just want to make sure because I mean it sounds kind of weird to me. Maybe I just. Need
I
to
just
twist
wish we
Yeah,
had
just-
a mute button.
Well, actually, you did. Remember last week?
No, you wouldn't let me use it.
Oh, that's true. I actually did.
You threatened.
Anyhow. Well, I mean, we're looking forward to another podcast. We got some great topics that we want to talk about, and I'm pretty excited about. Mike's got some things to talk about. It's coming off of St. Patty's Day weekend about some sports things that happen. But
What a time to be in Dallas, man.
Yeah.
oh,
Can you imagine if you're the ultimate fan? You had Stars on Saturday, Mavs on Sunday.
We had something on Friday too. He's going to talk about, which is exciting too.
Nice.
You know, I mean,
softball, girls
I can't wait to
softball.
hear all about it.
I mean, that definitely the entire sports weekend. I have to say was pretty phenomenal. No doubt,
Yes.
no doubt. But I mean, we're going to get into something a little bit probably drier than the sports thing of it. But you know me, you know.
We do.
We do.
We do.
Unfortunately.
So I mean, you know, there's been a lot of talk, especially as we go into the election year, about Social Security, the entitlements, Medicare, Medicaid, all those, and you know, there's constant bickering back and forth between politicians, between you know the executive branch and the Congress, and you know, some say they said this, some say they that. You know, the big thing that's coming up right now, and I really, this is as I get closer to it. I mean, I'm about a decade away from the current retirement age.
Really?
I'm not as
I
close.
would
You're about
have
to retire?
I would have guessed you were a lot closer.
I'm not as close as you are.
Well, I know that, but I would still guess you were a lot closer.
I mean, if I'm correct, you're 6 years closer than me.
Well, whatever.
But because obviously I do have a plan, where I'm going to say I'm done with it. I'm not going to actually, work. I'll work, but I won't actually do it for a living. Does that make sense? I mean, I'll do it for things that I want to have as supplemental income, but I'll take Social Security and run. That's my goal.
Well, we've been putting money in it forever.
And we're going to talk a little about that, But there's a huge push, specifically by the GOP in Congress, about raising the retirement age. Now, we'll get into kind of like what the real dirt is and why they want to actually raise the entire retirement age, because I mean it really isn't as cut clear as they try to give you. I mean, there's some nefarious reasons. There's obviously some payoffs. There's special interest, things of that sort they want to continue to maintain. Besides the 2017 tax cuts that Trump's put into line. But I want to also have Alex play a quick soundbite that idiot. And I'm sorry, he is an absolute idiot. I mean, if you've ever watched, the Daily News or whatever it is he does on this YouTube channel by Ben Shapiro. I mean, this guy. I mean, he's just ludicrous. He really is. And some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth. So I want to play this real quick, and I want to kind of delve into it a little bit more. So
You played the Ben Shapiro one?
Yeah, the Ben Shapiro.
And let's be real about this. It's insane that we haven't raised the retirement age in the United States. It's totally crazy. Joe Biden, if that were the case, Joe Biden should not be running for president. Hey, Joe Biden is 81 years old. The retirement age in the United States at which you start to receive Social Security and you are eligible for Medicare is 65. Joe Biden has technically been eligible for Social Security and Medicare for 16 years, and he wants to continue in office
It's
until
actually
he is
62.
86, which is 19 years past when he would be eligible for retirement. No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. Everybody that I know who is elderly, who has retired, is dead within 5 years. And if you talk to people who are elderly and they lose their purpose in life by losing their job and they stop working.
Okay. He is so fucking stupid. I mean, you sit here and you automatically equate that anything and everything about an individual's life is about work, 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 work. There's no reason why we actually have a lower life expectancy across the entire world than everybody else, because we don't have a balance of a quality of life between personal and work. I don't know. I mean, Michael, you probably has worked longer, a little bit longer than me. I mean, I started when I was 13, but I mean, I've worked 44 years, in some capacity, stocking shelves in a grocery store, which actually was a military grocery store. To
I was 16 because I had a car.
Yeah, I mean, and I paid into the system since then. So 44 years worth of Social Security that I paid into it. That's not the point what I'm trying to get at initially. I mean, if I'm going to work another 5 or 6 years or a decade, whatever it may be, and that hits me the 55 years, God damn it, I'm done. I'm serious. I'm done. It's like,
We've been putting our money in.
Absolutely. And to sit here and say, and if you've done it right, and not everybody has, and you've saved enough for retirement, you enjoy life then. Work is not your purpose, people. Work gets you to the end of your life, to enjoy life, to do a balance. And you should do some sort of balance in the time that you're working leading to your retirement. I mean, I know that, we talked, a little bit offside about the 32-hour work week that, Bernie Sanders has actually put out there. And whether or not that actually happens or not is probably far-fetched. It won't. But it does work in other countries in Europe. Norway and things of that sort, where they actually have the best quality of life ever. I mean, it's just, why can't we not enjoy life? I'm pretty sure God did not put us on here just to work.
Well, I mean, I know you've got other points you want to say, but when I first heard that, and then he went off on Biden, it's just like, okay, Trump is only a couple of years younger. So what difference why didn't he talk about him too?
Because, of course, he's a Trump supporter. But to your point, though, Michael, and this is the interesting thing about it is, back in 2020, all the Republicans came out and said Joe Biden's too old to run. He's just too old. It's well past his prime.
Well, let's just put it this way. They're both too old. We don't want them, but that we've got them.
Donald J. Trump is the same age that Biden was when he ran in 2020.
No, I know.
So, I mean, if Biden was too old in 2020, isn't Trump too old now? So, I mean, again, double standards, hypocrisy that they always have out there.
Double standards.
But, I mean, and there is this kind of like, a real beautiful reason as to why the GOP in particular want to actually increase the retirement age and actually diminish some of the entitlements and stuff, Social Security and all that, and they're talking about the increase in life expectancy. Well, first of all, life expectancy in the United States actually decreased after COVID. Mm-hmm. We also have the lowest of the actual, what do you call it, industrialized countries in the world, Western countries in the world, lowest life expectancy. So, I mean, that equation in of itself should tell you, with the exception of Japan. Japan obviously works the hell out of them. That should tell you, though, right off the bat, that was like, well, I mean, if they're living longer somewhere else because they're enjoying it, Ben Shapiro, your fucking argument's stupid.
Well, I'm all for decreasing the entitlements for the people in Congress.
They won't touch theirs.
Because they go in having a lot of money, but when they get out, they're millionaires and they've got all this money, all this stuff is. So
one of the other things they want to address, they're saying this will address the financial strain on all the different programs that FDR put into place. Medicare, Social Security. I mean, it's all government funded retirement because they really do want to privatize it as well. I mean, and let's be honest. If you're
Bush W. wanted to do that,
and they still do.
It tanked. I know, but it didn't pass. But
they still do.
They tried then.
And then they throw out these other things like promoting workplace participation, keeping the workforce people in the workplace longer can boost economic productivity. No, that's not true. Because as we get older, our ability to continue to produce more does diminish. I mean, it's just logically speaking, So you expect older people to do more.
Because doesn't Walmart still have greeters?
They do. And the interesting thing about that in particular is, and I think they do pay them a decent rate of like $15 or $20 now, but most of those individuals who are retirees doing that, they have to do it to supplement their income. Mm-hmm. And that's actually a shame that they have to do that. Adjusting to demographic shifts. I mean, I'm sorry. So, and there is a little bit of argument that I actually agree with that. I mean, granted, the population of America is getting older. So we have more people, population.
So I'm now with the majority.
You are. I mean, well, we are. I mean, and people over 50 are now in the majority of who are at a certain age in life, and you actually have less because, families have, parents have less children, things of that sort.
Yep.
It wasn't like the 4 to 5 families and all that before. So I get that. But, I mean, it doesn't mean raising the retirement age is going to help that because, I mean, somebody like me who actually technically, if they raise it, I have to work another freaking 13, 15 years. No, I'm not ready to work that many years.
But don't they usually kind of caveat for some people or whatever? So it's like my age, I don't think I'd have to worry about it because I think I'd be grandfathered in.
Well, no, actually, it affects anybody who is born in 1960 or actually 1950 and before. It doesn't affect you. Anybody born 1960 and before, it does affect them.
64?
60.
I was born after 60.
That's what I'm saying. It does affect you.
Oh.
You know.
But then I could hurry up and start taking it.
Well, I mean, yes, you can, and you should. I advise anybody who is at the age of 62, which is the first time that you can start taking it and actually get 70% of it, start taking it. Because, I mean, if anything happens, it's gone. You know, and there's a point that I want to make, you know, at the end of this about exactly why, you know, if you're going to make these changes, and again, I understand if targeting a younger generation and revamping it, there still needs to be some sort of entitlements that actually, once they get to a certain age, that they're entitled. I don't necessarily believe it needs to be also a increase in retirement age either. But anyhow.
But if they privatize it, does that mean all the money that I put in, I get it myself?
That's the big question out there, Michael. That's the big question. I mean,
if that's the case, let me do it.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
It's also, you know,
because I could invest it better than they could.
They also kind of go on and say it encourages personal savings. Bullshit. I'm sorry, it does not. You know, you're making my ass work another 4 or 5 years after when I was going to retire in the first place, and you think I'm going to save more? No. Because if, in fact, you know, Ben Shapiro's philosophy is saying the minute they retire and their actual, you know, desire to live or their whatever it may be is there and they die, well, then I'm going to enjoy myself as much as I can before I actually retire. There's vacations I'm going to take. I'm not going to fucking save it.
No, because it's like you get up. I mean, it is a fact. The older you get, you're going to have more medical issues, and you're going to be a lot slower doing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And again, I mean, why am I going to save more if, in fact, the minute that I do retire, you think I'm going to die? I'm sorry. I mean,
I'm all about enjoying life now.
I am all about nobody's going to get anything out of me because I'm going to be pissed broke by the time I die. I mean, I'm going to spend it all before I go. I mean, even if I actually spend it on some sort of like party afterwards, I don't care. Not going to be a damn dime left, you know. And of course, it's talking about, you know.
We'll have a good time at your farewell party.
I'm pretty sure you're going first. You know, they're also talking about preserving the solvency of the retirement programs out there. But I mean, that's again, these are all pretty arguments out there. As to why you want to raise the retirement age, why you want to privatize Social Security, things of that sort. You know, but what's the real dirt? They want to privatize Social Security or eliminate it for anybody in the younger generation. But they also want to keep those 2017 tax cuts that Trump put into place. Because right now, they're not going to be able to pay for. Yeah, they're not going to be able to pay for them. So they're trying to find and clamor. You know, so if you look at what the just at the tail end of 2023, what the GOP put forward in the House in regards to the budget, you know, across the board, including 18%. It was 18% across most of the actual cabinet positions and things of that sort, and the departments and whatever. 18%, including 18% of defense. I've never seen a GOP in my entire life want to cut something from the Defense Department, and yet they're willing to cut 18% so they can line their fucking pockets.
You got the crazies out there now.
They want to line their pockets.
Yeah,
that's what it is. You know. And they also want to cut the entitlements because they want to keep their own pork projects out there.
Yes.
Because they all have those little things out there, you know. And, of course, again, I've talked about this, you know, in the beginning, how there's, like, back and forth between, you know, the Democrats are blaming the Republicans are saying they're lying, yada, yada, yada. You know, well, unfortunately, you know, their figurehead, their leader, their cult leader happened to come out and confirm it. Something that, you know, and this is the thing why I really do think that his mental capacity is diminishing real quick, because sometimes he doesn't even know what the fuck he's saying, you know. So, Alex, can you kind of play that tape for me? That one, the Social Security one from, you know, Donald J. Trump?
Yep. Sorry, I forgot your name for a second there.
Yeah. Easily said. We all do.
There's not a whole lot of difference between what you think we should do with entitlements or non-discretionary spending and what President Biden is proposing. It's almost the third rail of politics. And we've got a $34 trillion total debt built up, and very little we can do in terms of cutting spending. Discretionary is not going to help. Have you changed your outlook on how to handle entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Mr. President? It seems like something has to be done or else we're going to be stuck at 120% of debt to GDP forever?
So first of all, there is a lot you can do in terms of entitlements, in terms of cutting, and in terms of also the theft and the bad management of entitlements, tremendous bad management of entitlements. There's tremendous amounts of things and numbers of things you can do. So I don't, necessarily.
Well, first of all, did anything that he said make any fucking sense?
No.
And he didn't give a real answer. I mean, because
He never gives a real answer.
But
a lot of politicians are that way too. So,
but let's be honest. What he did say is that entitlement, Social Security, it's on the table if he becomes president.
Of
And
course.
we know that when he becomes dictator, he's going to have more executive power given to him by those MAGA cult members inside Congress, and he's going to do whatever the hell he wants. Of
course.
So, I mean, bottom line is, I think that Michael said this probably about 4 or 5 podcasts. Vote, people. Vote. Yeah. Vote for your conscience. Vote for your livelihood. Vote for your retirement. Vote for everything that you paid into it. Because my question, and this kind of goes to what you were talking about earlier, Michael, is if I've paid in for the last 44 fucking years and you decide to eliminate it, do I get a refund? Where's my refund? Because let me tell you something, that's a lot of money.
I would take the refund right now.
I'll take it right now, too, because you know what? I'm not going to sit here and say I paid into the Social Security and what, FICA, Medicare, and all that for the last almost 44 years. You paid in probably 50 years, and I'm not going to get a damn dime back. And if I am, I'm going to get diminished what I've actually paid in.
And the max that they took out every year was like, if you went to the max, it was like $108,000. Is that right?
Yeah. And again, it's not.
Oh wait, no, it was a smaller amount. Never mind. That was the max, but it was a percentage of that.
And again, they've accrued interest on it and all that. I mean, I know that I did analysis, and if I do take my Social Security at 62, it's about $2,900 a month I'm entitled to. Obviously, if I stayed on a little bit longer till the 70, which is the additional 30%, I mean, I may get another $800, $900, but I mean,
you ain't gonna live past 70.
Exactly, man. I may not live to 70, first of all, and I'm pretty sure what I anticipate where I'm going to be living after I've actually taken Social Security. Skid Row or not, I don't need more than $2,900 to live. I can survive on that. Trust me.
Ooh, I need a lot more than that.
No, I'll be living in Portugal.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
We're going to Portugal. Let me tell you something. I've done the cost
Alex
analysis
will be
already.
going to Vegas every other week.
Oh, as long as he can. I go to Monte Carlo.
I've never stayed at the Monte Carlo.
No, I'm talking about Monte Carlo.
Oh.
The country.
The casino capital of Europe. That's where you want to go.
That's why they have a hotel named Monte Carlo.
Yeah, they do that, but I mean, yeah. So, but again, I mean, I want that refund. So if they're gonna tops over this entire Social Security and entitlement, I mean, whether I get Medicare, Medicaid, whatever that may be at I don't know what age I can get that. I think it's 65 or something like that. No, 66 or something. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have some sort of disease, I'm just going to let it go and I'll die. So I don't care. But anyhow.
We'll go to your funeral.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll go.
Appreciate that. I'm not going to have one. I'm going to be burnt and just sprinkled over somewhere.
Well, then we'll bring marshmallows.
There you go. I love that. Make sure there's cocktails involved too, though.
Of course.
Where are you going to spread your ashes somewhere?
Well, I mean, I can't really say on openly online, simply because where it will be done will be illegal. And it's not because it's something outrageous or something like that. It's something associated with my parents.
Gotcha.
And where they're buried, it's illegal to do it. So, but anyhow,
I'm gonna donate mine to like a
Science?
high school.
Your ashes or your body?
My whole everything.
Well, not to a high school.
It's like in dissect me. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, I could be like a, where they study how people die and like, forensics. That'd be kind of cool.
Alcohol?
Yeah. There you go. There you go. What'd you say? A body farm? Yeah.
Well, a lot of these universities do that. Yeah. I mean, and literally, it's like they donate it, but then they end up selling it off, pieces of your body to other places. Trust me. Yeah. I mean, your ass is going to be cut up everywhere, maybe even literally. Just keep that in mind. So, anyhow, Mike, I know you got some great things to talk about, some sports. So let's jump into that.
All right, because we know two of my favorite topics to talk about is NCIS and sports.
Yes, it is.
So nothing on NCIS at the moment,
But there was something, and I'll do some research for you. There was something that was like controversial that came out. I think the tail end of last week. I don't know what it was.
on NCIS.
About that, yeah. So
Okay.
I'll dig into
Well,
that
no,
for you.
but it's like I'll bring it up next week or next time or whatever. But this was sports, so it was St. Patrick's Day this weekend, but it was a great sports weekend too. Started out Friday night. Rick, you and I went to go see Forney High
That we
School
did.
girls softball play. And it was like Forney, which I've told you, my brother's team. They were ranked second in the state, and they played Waco Robinson, which was ranked 9th in the state. And so they were playing.
And this was a game that your brother really told us that if there's one that we want to see, this is the one.
because it was a non-district game, but it was also of two ranked teams that they knew would be a very good game. And so we went to the game on Friday, and it was a very good game. I mean, it started out where Forney ended up being up 3-zip. Robinson came back. They hit a 3-run home run and tied it up at 3-3. And then it was nip and tuck the rest of the way. And then in the bottom of the 7th inning,
Oh well, yeah, we were actually holding our balls there. Trust me.
the bottom of the 7th inning, the pitcher was the first one up, hit a triple. And so we had the winning run on third base, and then luckily the next batter hit a base hit.
And keep in mind, this is like 2 outs, 2 strikes. I mean, this is like the end. Right? Or
It was in.
It was it. I mean, if she struck out or the pitcher threw a strike, it was done. And she hit exactly where it needed to hit.
Hit it, went in the outfield, scored the run. Forney won 4-3. They are now 21-2 in their record, and still number 2 in the state.
You know, I mean, I've been to a couple of those games quite often over the last 2 years, and what I will say that is, you know, the crowds peter out after a point. There was a crowd all the way to the end.
It was a big crowd.
And it went in because it was actually at Forney itself. So they were actually the home team, and that was actually a ruckus of people just like jubilant in that regard. So, and to see those girls hitting that field as well, and knowing full well that they worked hard for it, and they finally got it.
Yep. So congratulations to Forney on Friday.
100%.
And then Saturday was a Dallas Stars game. So Rick and I went, and then also my brother and sister-in-law went. And it was also the day where they were going to unveil the Mike Madonna statue outside the
And
stadium.
if everybody remembers, there was a monsoon going outside.
Yeah. So it was the presentation was supposed to be a few hours before the game, but there was a monsoon going on, so they basically delayed it until the first intermission. And so we had gotten we start our day earlier. We're going to be at the pub at 3 o'clock.
I mean, let's kind of break it down. I mean, we anticipated that we were going to hit the actual ceremony at 4 p.m. on
but
the
we're
plaza.
going to the pub first.
And we went. We decided we'll meet at the pub first, have 1 or 2 cocktails, and then we'll head out there. And as we were getting to, first of all, the pub was packed. I mean, it was just absolutely like wall-to-wall people. I mean, I put it out on my social media about a video about that. I mean, and it's because of not just the rain, but it's also St. Patty's Day's weekend. So we end up going to, you know, a restaurant right next door, and then we eventually got into there. But I mean, that's when we also got notified that the actual ceremony was being postponed.
Yep.
So the first intermission.
And so then we ultimately just stayed at the pub until about 6:30 because the game didn't start till about 7.
Just about
So
3
then-
hours of drinking.
So we went to the game, and then during the first
Oh
intermission.
no, that's fine, Carrie. You say 3 hours. Oh, whatever. Yeah, then we also had another 3 hours drinking at the actual arena.
So during the first intermission, they did the ceremony inside, but then they showed on the jumbotron them raising and unveiling the statue, and the statue is just unbelievable. And if you've ever been to the American Airlines Center, they had Dirk. Last year they had his statue, and it's a huge statue, unbelievable. And it's like just right on the other side is now Mike Madonna.
And it's the same sculptor who did Mike's Madonna's as well. And let me tell you something: the extreme detail on that, I mean, incredibly impressive.
It was, and the Stars won.
They did. They took it. They took it home.
And so as of right now, the Stars are in a 3-way tie for first in their division with Winnipeg and Colorado, and they have 13 games left in the season before the playoffs start.
Fingers crossed we get in the playoffs.
So that was 2 victories in 2 days, whatever they're going to. And then Sunday, went to see the Dallas Mavericks play Denver. And
This was a actually afternoon game, though, right?
it was an afternoon game,
St.
2:30,
Patty's Day.
St. Patrick's Day. And my friend Nancy was in town that I've known for over 40 years.
40 years he's known her. Wow, that's friendship.
And so
Especially with him.
she's living in Austin, but they do kind of have a house here in Dallas, or just got a new house here in Dallas or whatever. And so went to the game with her, and then after the game was actually going to the pub to meet Rick and Alex. And so I kept giving.
We actually socialized all of us outside the podcast,
And so then I was giving them updates because we knew the pub was going to be packed.
and we were actually
I
watching the
invited
game.
myself.
We were.
Oh, that was
Well,
a
and
lot of
actually, you
fun.
kind of did actually like insert yourself
I did.
because
I totally
we didn't
inserted
even tell
myself.
you that we were going.
No, I told you we were going.
Yeah. No, you guys was like, "Are we going?" Oh, okay.
So I mean, so the Mavs game is with about 2 to 3 minutes left. About 3 minutes left in the game. The Mavs had like a 9-point lead.
It was
2 to 3 minutes left. They had a 9-point lead.
I think it was like
And it looked. I mean, they were on a roll. It's like go and do it. And then all of a sudden, they could not hit a shot.
yeah. I mean, and as much as I love Luka, I mean, he was really. I mean, even that penalty shot, he screwed up.
Well, and so then ultimately it became tied, and then Denver hit a 3-pointer with less than a minute left, and
Got to
went up
105.
and went up to 3. They were up by 3, and so it's like, oh damn, we've been leading this game, and now we're gonna fucking lose this game.
Which is really what's been happening to them lately too.
And so then Luka got the ball. He hit a long 3-pointer. So then we're tied. Then Denver has a chance to hit the bucket and go ahead. They miss their shot.
That was a great miss.
We get the rebound. We call timeout. There's like 2.5 seconds left. Then after the timeout, they throw it into Kyrie Irving, and he dribbles around and then does a left-hand hook shot.
Single-handed.
And it goes in at the buzzer.
Yeah,
And the
I mean-
crowd went nuts. And matter of fact, it was all over ESPN and all that stuff. It's
Well,
great
that's
finishes.
definitely going to be the talk of the rest of the week. Obviously, the play of the week. You know, Kyrie obviously earned his money.
Yep.
Yesterday, there's no doubt.
That's why I love sports, man. I just want to be a witness.
And so the Mavs won. So they're currently in 7th place, which is still in the playoff
Within playoffs,
position. You want to be in the top 6 because in this top 6 you don't have to do the play-in rounds or whatever. And the Mavs have 14 games left in their season before the playoffs start. So that was Sunday. So that was 3 victories in a row, which was great. And then March Madness for college basketball for both women and men.
Have you filled their bracket out yet?
Haven't filled it out yet, but I mean that has started. They had the selection on there, and so all I gotta say for anybody that doesn't know, I went to Texas Tech. You need a refill.
Well, yeah, but you're talking.
Oh yeah, right. So I went to Texas Tech. Texas Tech is got a 6th seed, and they're going to be playing North Carolina. I believe it's on Thursday. It could be Friday. I'm not sure. But for the Big 12, which is basically kind of considered one of the best men's basketball conferences, they ended up getting 8 bids. They almost got 9 because Oklahoma was the first team out. So if Oklahoma would have gotten a bid, we would have gotten 9 bids for the NCAA. And then also in men's basketball, you have the NIT, and there's 3 teams. Oklahoma decided not to take an NIT bid, but there was 3 other Big 12 teams that got NIT bids. So ultimately, if Oklahoma would have taken the bid, you would have had 12 of the 14 teams get a bid in tournament. So basically, and the first week, of the of the March Madness, I love the upsets. I want to see some big upsets.
Yeah, me too.
That's the ones I want to see. I want to see the high ranks or whatever, except for my team, Texas Tech. I want y'all to keep winning or whatever, but I just want to see
That's
some
to be
major. I
expected.
want to see some major upsets.
Yeah, I like the upsets. I bet on the upsets. So I'm going to Vegas Wednesday to bet on the upsets, and I'm going
Just
to
to
go.
bet?
No, to get some steak.
Oh, some steak. Yeah. Are you going to visit some of the steakhouses he actually sent you a list of?
No, I already have. No, I'm going to Nico's. I've never been.
Oh, that's right.
Check
You
it out,
are.
Nico's.
I mean, I think you said that last. Well, you
Yeah.
probably said that on the podcast that we didn't publish.
That we didn't publish. And then I'm
And
going
that's
back on the
another story,
28,
folks, in
29,
itself.
30. to
All right,
watch the
cool.
games.
So all in all, this past weekend was a great sports weekend for me.
Actually, it was. Even for us. I didn't go to the Mavs game, but we were watching at the final at the pub. And let me tell you something. As excited as the arena was for that last shot, and it was like 2.8 seconds that he did it, and literally as the buzzer was going, everybody in the pub was doing the exact same thing, off their feet. It was just chaos, which is great. So,
Yes.
absolutely. And again, I can't speak about how much. Friday night I was like dead tired because I had literally no sleep the entire night before, and I was a little bit hesitant to go. But
Go where?
To Forney.
Oh,
But the excitement of the game kept me awake. Now I collapsed when I got home, but that's another story.
because my brother and sister-in-law would have been pissed if you wouldn't have gone.
I know, but I am so glad I did go. I'm so glad. I'm glad that Pat said that was a game that we should see.
And we got to sit in the press box.
Yeah, we did. Well, actually, it was
in
it was the announcer box.
That's cool.
Well, that's the press.
It was the
box.
announcer
Are
box.
they? Is
Well,
it air
that's the press
conditioned?
box.
Yeah, I've been in.
Well, no, we
no.
didn't need air conditioning.
I've been in a little press box.
Yeah.
too.
Friday, it turned out a little cold.
Michael really gets passionate about Forney. You've been following
Very.
Forney for how long?
Well, 8 years now.
8 years.
Yeah, I feel like ever since I've known you, you've been.
Well, it's when my brother started coaching the girls softball.
Yeah, his brother's been coaching 19 years, but he's been 8 years at Forney.
That's cool.
So, and he's done phenomenal with that team.
Yes.
There's no doubt. With the program, because he's been there for so long, and he's seen obviously several senior teams. So,
Yes.
and 2025 looks just as good.
That's next year, right?
Correct.
Yes. I was trying to think.
Okay, it does start in January is the season, although they do have like pre-trials and all that in
I know.
beforehand. But yes,
No,
2025.
I just had to think of that because okay, we're.
I know more than you.
I'm just
That
saying.
doesn't get
I'm
old.
just
I'm
saying.
sorry.
I'm just saying. Well, anyways, thanks, Mike. It's great to hear all that stuff about the sports weekend too. And again, after the game of Mavs and St. Patty's Day, we had a great time for 3-4 hours afterwards. Probably longer than we should have.
Yeah, that was a great time. They had a live band outside.
Yeah, because my friend Nancy she's heard so much about the pub. She wanted to go to the pub. And so then when we got the pub, and then while we're walking there, let's only have maybe 1-2 drinks at the max.
That's never the case.
I
go to that place to get
we
to
had
get
at
fucked
least
up.
4,
Yeah.
if not more, or whatever.
Well, plus
think
we
it was-
had 2 orders of pretzels,
Yes.
a whole order
Reuben
of
fries.
the fries,
And also the Scottish eggs.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
The
we
what?
went deep.
the
Scottish. eggs.
Oh,
the Scottish eggs.
got it.
They're an acquired taste, mind you.
Yeah.
but-
So you don't even know what happened outside. So we went outside.
Right.
We're watching the band, and this girl comes up. Right. What did she say? She was like, "My name's Brianna." I go, "Rihanna? Your name's Rihanna?" She goes, "No, it's Brianna." I was like, "You changed it to Brianna? Why would you change?" She's like, "No, it's Brianna."
Why did she approach you in the first place?
I was just
random?
just standing there.
Oh, okay.
Just standing there.
Oh, she was looking for a little.
Just standing there. So anyway,
Let's go
her
swing
her
both
boyfriend
ways.
finally walked up and was like, "We gotta go." Took her away.
Well, Saturday when we were there.
Oh, this is interesting too.
Saturday we were. It was packed at the. We were at the packed
just-
at the pub
well,
too, or whatever.
And I want to kind of stress this about the pub because obviously the whole premise behind this podcast did start from the pub, and we still go there and we would love to eventually actually do some recording there and videoing and all that stuff. But we love them as much as they love us because we were actually at one of their sister properties, and we got drinks and we ordered pizza, and the Jeremy, who's the GM there, got me a table immediately, and I'm like, dude, we just ordered pizza, bring it with you. So this is again another restaurant that actually doesn't sell, they don't sell pizza at the pub. We end up bringing and again I knew what was going to happen as soon as he walked in. First of all, getting a table as packed as it was, and we were getting looks because somebody already had snuck on the table.
Or celebrities.
And then bringing this big-ass pizza box in, setting it down on this, skinny-ass little table. Everybody's immediately just targeted us looking at us because they all came from the parade. They were all hungry as hell. And I'm like, oh, shit. And again, we had like 2 or 3 people come and was like, where'd you
The
get
St.
that pizza?
Patrick's Day on Greenville Avenue, that parade.
It's just, it was actually incredible to see that. A hugely young crowd. So
But that wasn't the point I was going to bring up.
no, he's got an interesting point.
My point that I was going to bring up is, I mean, there was a bunch of people, and the place was packed, and people were walking around or whatever. But my brother, straight brother, got hit on by a guy.
Well, the assumption is he did.
What do you mean he did?
Well, again, I mean, I inferred it, whether or not it's true or not.
It was true. Oh, it was. You could see the guy flirting.
First of all, this kid was, and I say kid, literally, it's like maybe 21, 22 years old. He's from Spain, not Catalina, but Spain. You know, I actually did get that differentiation. And he's actually out in Abilene, I think it was.
Abilene Christian.
Yeah, Abilene Christian, actually on the tennis program. So I guess it's an exchange program, whatever. And he just literally came up, started talking to Pat, and then introduced himself to us as well. And after he
It was
left,
about 5 minutes later when he introduced us, or we
Well,
talked
yeah.
because he was so busy with my brother.
well, I asked Pat, I was like, how did this, I mean, why did he come over here? He goes, he just started waving to me and then started coming over to talk to me. He was like, oh, he wanted a daddy. and
then-
he wanted you as a daddy.
And then after he left, my brother looked him up on the
He
Abilene
did.
Christian
He did.
Sports website.
And he was legit. Legit. You know, so he's definitely on the actual site.
he
for
was a
Christian.
good-looking guy.
I mean, it was just kind of interesting to see that happen. You know, I mean, it's just. But again, we always say that, you know,
Yeah, but it's like
they're
my
not gay, they're European.
But it's like my brother got hit on by a gay guy.
Well, I'm going to let you say that. I'm just going to say he just wanted a daddy. Which is kind of interesting. It was kind of fun, though. I mean, it was a great day. There's no doubt about it. You know, no doubt about it. And just for the record, you know,
and Michelle,
Pat's
his
wife
wife,
did
wasn't,
eventually come.
wasn't there. She did eventually come.
Yeah, she did eventually show up. Well, you know, probably about 30 or 40 minutes afterwards, and we did let her know about what happened. So,
Yes.
You know, so it's not going to be something surprise to her when she hears it on the podcast.
No.
No. Anyhow. So we're going to kind of like roll on, so the one that we actually started at the last podcast in our new segment is called The Bible and the Insane Shit. If you
Oh,
remember
we're
that.
doing this again.
We are. But first and foremost, Mike, you remember last podcast when you talked about that outtake specifically on West Wing where the president was actually approaching somebody who's one of those Christian extremists. I did the research as I told you would.
Okay, go.
And I'm going to have actually Alex play that now.
Because that was more interesting than your story.
Well, it is, but I mean, I think it all kind of rolls into exactly what my points that I'm trying to get across.
But it'll
he
give
did
it
it more
it'll
eloquent.
gi-
He did it more
yes.
eloquently. I get that.
And more sense. It'll make more sense.
Playing Oops.
Oopsie.
Oops.
No, not that one.
Oh.
The YouTube one.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I actually had it all pulled up, ready to go.
And this is West Wing, the Sears West Wing that we actually had on the TV network TV years ago with Martin Sheen.
I wish I could spend more than a few minutes with you, but the polls don't close in the East for another hour, and there are plenty of election results still left to falsify.
Donald Trump.
With so many people participating in the political and social debate through call-in shows, it's a good idea to be reminded every once in a while. It's a good idea to be reminded of the awesome impact.
Anybody who hasn't seen
The
this should
awesome
go out and actually see the
impact.
video of this too. It's a really impact as well.
I'm sorry, you're Dr. Jenna Jacobs, right?
Yes, sir.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
The awesome impact of the airwaves and how that translates into the furthering of our national discussions, but obviously also how it can forgive me, Dr. Jacobs. Are you an MD?
A PhD.
A PhD?
Yes, sir.
In psychology?
No,
Theology.
sir.
Theology?
No.
Social work?
I have a PhD in English literature.
I'm asking because on your show, people call in for advice, and you go by the name Dr. Jacobs on your show, and I didn't know if maybe your listeners were confused by that and assumed you had advanced training in psychology, theology, or healthcare.
I don't believe they are confused. No, sir.
Good. I like your show. I like how you call homosexuality an abomination.
I don't say homosexuality is an abomination, Mr. President. The Bible does.
Yes, it does. Leviticus,
1822.
chapter and verse. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions while I had you here. I'm interested in selling my youngest daughter into slavery, as sanctioned in Exodus 21:7. She's a Georgetown sophomore, speaks fluent Italian, always cleared the table when it was her turn. What would a good price for her be? While thinking about that, can I ask another? My chief of
Go right
staff,
ahead.
Leo McGarry, insists on working on the Sabbath. Exodus 35:2 clearly says he should be put to death. Am I morally obligated to kill him myself, or is it okay to call the police? Here's one that's really important, because we've got a lot of sports fans in this town. Touching the skin of a dead pig makes one unclean, Leviticus 11:7. If they promise to wear gloves, can the Washington Redskins still play football? Can Notre Dame?
No longer the Redskins.
Can West Point? Does the whole town really have to be together to stone my brother John for planting different crops side by side? Can I burn my mother in a small family gathering for wearing garments made from two different threads? Think about those questions, would you? One last thing. Well,
Take
you
his
may be
advice. Think about
mistaking
it.
this for your monthly meeting of the ignorant tight-ass club. In this building, when the president stands, nobody sits.
So, folks, the reason I actually want that to
She
play
was
is,
setting, and now she stands up.
yeah, I mean, again, if you have not seen that outtake on that particular episode, please do go out and see that, because not just the actual audio, but the video portion of it is really impacting of it. Martin Sheen did an excellent job. What he was quoting was legit. There was no acting of fiction there. It was legitimately in the Bible that what he's talking about, and this is kind of what the whole segment that I'm talking about. And Michael, I mean, you're absolutely right. When we started on the
Let's hear it. He said it again. I was right. Let's write that down.
you are right, because obviously I prompted it in your mind.
Oh God.
When I
Need a
started on the
drink.
new segment specifically about the Bible and the insane shit, I mean, again, this is something that we need to talk about, because people are holding it against other individuals. They're persecuting individuals. They're discriminating against individuals, all based upon a Bible that actually written 3,000 different times, interpreted 3,000 different times, translated 3,000 different times, come from different, regions of the world, and, decades and centuries and stuff like that. So we really got to be aware of that. So, but I mean, I think Martin Sheen really did set it out exactly, my point wise, very eloquently, what I'm trying to get across here.
Better than you did.
Well, but better not, but maybe I'll be just as good as an actor as him at someday.
I don't
But-
think that'll. I don't think that'll ever happen. But keep trying. Anything's possible.
But as promised, every podcast, I was going to do 2 episodes or 2 points out of the actual Bible, or passages as they call them, and really kind of talk about the hypocrisy specifically around those. So the first one is, again, the whole name of it is like Deuteronomy or whatever that shit is.
Go ahead. I was just talking to the director.
Make sure it's like a Baptist church music, though, please. Not Catholicism
Is this
or.
too sad or? Let's see.
Well, I mean, well, I mean, they want to hear me speak versus somebody else.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
So you got to bring it down a little
Can
bit.
we vote on that to see?
Yeah, you can do that, Michael.
Let's vote. Yeah. Oh yeah, let's go.
I'd like to see that much movement out of you on a
I've been to
Sunday.
one of those churches. It's a lot
No,
of
I
fun.
actually have. It's been 30 years, but my godson was baptized in Old Town, Alexandria, Virginia. It was the most phenomenal, invigorating experience that I've ever had in a church. I was the only white person there, and
You're white?
coming from a Catholicism and experiencing a Baptist church like that, I was like, what the hell have I been missing? Because this is about joy, not like, doom and gloom. Absolutely, completely different. So I just thought it was, that's doom and gloom. That's exactly what I'm used to when I was in the I was like, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, praise Jesus, I'm like, wow, where have I been for the last, 30 years? So, but anyhow, but I mean, again, I can't say the word. Because I'm not obviously one of those theologists, determinology, whatever it is. But it's actually, 25, 11, 12. And I'll read this real quick for you, because I'm going to read them from the Bible. Again, my 44-cent Bible.
Can't even mail a letter for 44
And
cents.
actually, you can actually. But I also think I got points for buying this. I'm not sure what the points are for, so I got to research that as well. So I'll let you know when I do research that. So, when men fight with one another, and the wife of one draws near to rescue her husband from the hand of who is beating him and puts out her hand and seizes him by the private parts, then you shall cut off her hand. Your eye shall have no pity. So basically, they were saying is like, if your wife is faithful and she's defending you, and she grabs, the guy by his hoo-ha, God has the blessing to cut her hand off. That's how you
While
interpret
he's
it.
holding the U-Ha?
Well, I don't know if that's the case or not.
Because then that would cut his off too.
Clarify it. I don't know. But bottom line is like, the point being is like, seriously, people. I mean, if you take this literally, we're going to have chaos in the fields everywhere. So the other one was I can actually say Leviticus. I can say that. So because apparently there's a lot about Leviticus that's kind of crazy.
I'm impressed. You've got little stickers on there.
I do.
And you've highlighted it.
Again, there was some struggle, but I got there.
Oh my God. Well, we're struggling listening to this.
Are you really?
Ahead.
Okay. So this is another one that's actually about giving birth to a daughter that makes you unclean for 66 days. This goes to every female out there who has given birth to a female. And this kind of, I think, plays into the whole, like, females are, inferior to male and all that, which I actually thought about this earlier today. It's like, they control life. How are they inferior? If you don't have that, you have nobody else. Let's be honest. So, but I'm going to read this real quick to you. So, but if she bears a female child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks as her menstruation, and she shall continue in the blood of her purifying for 66 days. Next time when your devout relatives or somebody who always thinks that they're right, especially when it comes to religious debates out there, politely just bring up it in the eyes of God, in the eyes of the Bible. The mother is a dirty whore who needs to wait 66 days before being allowed anywhere near anything clean ever again. Come on, folks. Again, we bring this up because of the hypocrisy and the insane shit that's in this Bible, and people actually try to interpret it. And one thing that I want to equate specifically to is like, our Constitution was actually done in what, 1776?
Yes.
Yeah. 1776 was 3 centuries ago.
Yeah.
Things were different then.
Totally.
The technology and the advancements that we've made in those 3 centuries are completely different than they would ever fathom that we would get to. They didn't expect us to fly. They didn't expect us to have a submachine gun that actually do 100 bullets a minute or seconds, whatever it may be. So don't take what the Constitution says literally. It is now the actual judgment of the people who do legislate, as well as the judicial branch, to actually evolve the Constitution. Mm-hmm. And so that's the same thing with the Bible. Don't take it as the gospel, because your interpretation is not my interpretation. Oh, shut up. Well, we're not done with the show yet.
Oh, we're not?
No. Oh my God, Michael, seriously?
Well, I'm looking at the time.
Hey, we're running over this time, so who cares?
Oh, this time, it's every time.
There's a lot to talk about in life nowadays. Let's be honest. So, anyways, that is our Bible segment
All right,
for
so
the day.
what's your last topic?
Well, actually, this is kind of interesting because, we're going to talk about how stupid and hypocritical the actual MAGA cult members are.
That's going to be that can't be a whole nother episode?
No, well, it could be.
Well, I know, because you're going to talk about it for 15, 20 minutes.
No. I got some audio.
Okay, wait. Okay, how long do you think this is going to last? We're going to time you on this.
15. So that'll get us like a little bit over an hour. There's some good topics. You had sports today.
Well, you're usually doing all the talking. I don't get a word in edgewise
Yeah,
most of the time.
we could put it into the next episode. We could record it right now.
Yeah.
You literally can jump in anytime you want.
Well, I'm just saying.
And you have.
I'm just saying this would be a good time to end. We could end with the church music,
Well,
and
no.
then do another.
Let's do this.
Do another one and make that another topic.
Okay, we could do another one, but let's do this. As a precursor, or a teaser.
Church music.
A teaser. No. This is not.
No, he wants to end with church music.
No. I want to play the bloodbath one. So this is the teaser going into the next segment for the next podcast that we have to do. So we're going to end that real quick, and then we'll finish those.
It's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country.
So let that sink for a little bit. And apparently, I can't talk anymore
Yay!
because they won't let me.
We
But
need
that is
church
the
music.
beginning of our next topic that we're going to talk about in the next podcast. So keep in mind the bloodbath that Trump is saying is going to happen. We do actually thank you for joining us for actually, I think it's episode 17 or so, for Buddies, Booze, Banters, Unfiltered Conversations. I am Rick, and I'm being cut off.
I'm Alex.
I'm Michael. Oh,
Talk to you
happy
next episode.
days.
Jesus was. When my Jesus was. He washed my sins away.
Oh, happy day.
Yeah.
Oh, happy day.